All right, well, we will go ahead and get started for today. My name is Bethany Bowman. I am the Director of Financial Aid here at Lamar University, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to visit with everyone here today with us, or for those of us who may be viewing in the future. I do want to, you'll see it, I'm going to have a PowerPoint here shortly, but you can always reach out to our office at financialaid@lamar.edu. I do have to preempt everything, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing of it, but because things have been so unconventional lately and we're working in some very unique circumstances, it is taking me and my team longer to reach out with you. But you do matter. You are important. We are not ignoring you. It's just taking us longer. But I promise you, we're going to do what we need to do to get your financial aid package ready to go. So please don't fret. Don't let this take away from this really great time in your life planning to start your journey here with us at Lamar. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and there's some general things I want to review that I think are applicable to all students in their journey, their financial aid journey. Even though everyone's journey is definitely a little different, I think there's things that it's important for all students to know. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. We're going to do the PowerPoint, and then I'll take some question and answer. And then Terrance, I'm going to lean on you, I think. If you have questions you've gotten from students who maybe can't be with us today, or students in the past that you think might be helpful, if you'll ask those at the end as well, I think that would be beneficial for those who may be joining us at a later point. We're going to talk about next steps because we're coming to you assuming that you have already applied and been admitted to the university. If not, again, no sweat. There is still time to do that. That's one of the great things about Lamar is that we are going above and beyond, and we really are trying to make this place a place that removes barriers for students. So, we understand that not everybody makes their decision their fall of their senior year. That just might not be your circumstance. So there's still time to apply and there's still time to get financial aid. Okay. So here we are. Here's the big one, financialaid@lamar.edu. You can call me. Me and my team, we are here for you. And again, I have to give you the caveat. My phones are not open the normal amount of time that we are, for instance, whenever we do get back to whatever our new normal is. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to call, I'm going to tell you to get up early, call 9 a.m. when I open my phone lines, because you're much more likely to get in. Because right now, while we're working with you guys to get your awards ready for y'all to come in, the other part of what we do is work with all the current students. And so right now we're awarding summer financial aid. That is something we have here at Lamar, which not all schools are able to offer. And then we're also awarding students aid for next year for our returning students. So we've got quite a bit going on, which is why you're going to see it might take a minute to get to us. The other, we are on chat. So whenever you go to the financial aid webpage or the main webpage, or you check on your admission status, when that chat pops up, chirp, whenever he pops up, put in whatever question you have for us, and you're actually going to get to actually interact with either answers that my counselors have provided in the past, or you can actually interact. They'll actually respond to you in as much real time as possible. Sometimes it's in real time. Sometimes you may need to wait a moment for us to get back with you. But again, we are going to get back with you. So, is your FAFSA complete? So for my students, for you guys, I'm assuming that you're starting in August, okay? Wherever you start in August, you need to have your 2020-2021 FAFSA complete. What is a complete FAFSA? That does not just mean that you filled everything out and it's sitting there and it hasn't been signed off by your parent if you're a dependent student. My dependent students in the room, I want to clarify because it's a very big question we get. Is I'm financially independent. My parents don't claim me on their taxes. I'm independent for FAFSA. Unfortunately, you are not. The Department of Ed is very clear about who is considered a dependent or independent student. Dependent students are anybody who is under the age of 24. Anyone who does not have children that they support. Excuse me, let me try that again. Under the age of 24. Okay. The exceptions to that are, do you have children that you support? You provide 100% of their support. Are you a veteran or active duty military? Are you married, or are you over the age of 24? There you go. The other exceptions would be if you are designated by your high school official or other local official as homeless or at risk of homelessness, according to the McKinney-Vento Act, which that would have been something your public or private school would have verified, and they just need to provide that to us. Those would be the only exceptions to that. So you do have to partner with your parents. You need to make sure those lines of communication are open and you work on this together, because this is something you're going to do every year, once a year while you're here with us at Lamar. Every October, the FAFSA opens and you're going to use the income information for 2 years prior. The FAFSA will be very, very clear. What I will tell you is you cannot fly through the FAFSA. You need to take your time. You need to read the questions thoroughly. It's not complicated. However, if you don't read the question thoroughly, because some of the information, I will say, it's not what I would say is intuitive. Okay. Sometimes, for instance, it asks you for your income, but it wants your income from 2 years ago. That doesn't seem very intuitive, but that's how we determine what your financial need is, and that's set forth by the Department of Education through the Higher Education Act. So as much as there is room for improvement there, until Congress says they're going to change something, this is what we rep. So, right, we're going to work within the system that we have. So your FAFSA, you fill it out every year, once a year. I always say apply before you eat your pie. So apply for your FAFSA before you eat your Thanksgiving pie. It's corny, but it's true, and it works. We are here to help with some questions and answers. There is a lot of great information there in the FAFSA as you are filling it out. You will see a little circle with an eye in it. If you hover over that, it will explain to you exactly what it's looking for. Studentaid.gov. It's an incredible, comprehensive website. I encourage you to spend time on there. Part of being a successful financial aid candidate and being a successful student here at Lamar means you have to take ownership of this experience. And if you want that choice-filled life that this degree is going to give you, you have to take ownership, and you need to make sure that you are out there looking at information, looking at my website. As much as I wish I could interact with and my team, my counselors, I've got counselors who've been here for 30 years, and I've got counselors who've been here for 2 years. We love students. We love interacting with students. But a large part of our job is processing documents and processing what we need to do to get you these federal and state funds. We put as much information as we think you need, tons of information on our website, because we want to empower you so that you don't have to wait for an email response. And if you want to do something, and you should be doing things on your own, very much like your professor is going to give you a syllabus at the beginning of class, and that is going to contain every piece of information you need to be successful in that class. If you approach financial aid the same way, I promise it'll be a smooth experience. So, were you selected for verification? Verification there is with a capital V. I always think of verification as with a capital V. That is when the Department of Ed has tasked the university, whichever university you go to, because if you're selected at one, you're selected at all of them. And a lot of us, right, we shop around because our university and the college we choose, that's an investment. So you probably have applied at other schools. And if you were selected here, you were selected at those schools as well. That's where the Department of Ed has tasked the financial aid office with confirming that the information that you indicated in the FAFSA and the information that you're going to provide us on a worksheet and a tax return, or using the data retrieval tool, which is an option provided to most FAFSA applicants within the FAFSA, that information all matches. How are you going to know you're selected for that? I'm going to send you a letter. I'm going to send you an email, and you're also going to see it on your requirements on your banner self-serve. You and your banner self-serve, that's through your LU Connect, need to be best friends. That is where I put all the information, and everything is updated there first. You'll know immediately what documents are missing. You'll see descriptions of those. You'll see links to worksheets you may need to fill out. You will see information from our office about for instance, if your FAFSA is rejected, which that means maybe you didn't get your parent to sign it, or you didn't sign it, or did you enter your Social Security wrong? Did you transpose some numbers? All that information is on your banner self-serve under requirements. On my website, if you go to lamar.edu, type in check your status in the Google search box, it'll give you step-by-step instructions to access your banner self-serve. Lamar students, we have about 15,000 students at Lamar, which we are very proud of. It makes us a very diverse and dynamic place to work and to learn at. And of those, about 80% of those students need something from this financial aid office. I say that to remind you that we won't always be able to interact with you as quickly and as we want to, or as quickly as you may need us to. So that's why it's so important that you check your banner self-service, because everything we put out there, that's going to be the easiest way for you to see. Do you have outside resources you need to tell us about? You need to make sure you notify our office, and we have a tool, this is also through your banner self-service, to to let us know if you're receiving outside scholarships. So for instance, are you getting a scholarship from ROTC at your high school or your church or your parents' company? Are you getting Hazelwood benefits? Was your parent in the service and now you're using their either post 9/11 GI Bill or their Hazelwood? Those are both veterans benefits. Are you using those? We need to know about that because that impacts the types of aid that we can give you and how much aid you get. And what we don't want to happen, and which will happen if you don't let us know, is we're going to award you thinking we have the complete picture. And then later on, let's say later on, we get your scholarship in. Well, if we've already awarded the maximum amount of aid you're eligible for and that scholarship comes in, it may result in us having to reduce either a loan or work study that you were offered. So we'd rather give you the first, and for the first award be the correct award. New student orientation. Don't forget to sign up for that. That is the most important thing here out of everything I'm going to say, because if you don't go to new student orientation, you're not going to know how to get off to a successful start, and you're not going to be able to register for classes. Without registering for classes, you have no bill. And nothing I do matters if you don't have a bill. So my office puts your financial aid together, and then my partners in the cashier's office, they actually create your bill and accept the financial aid that we pay to them. So that's why it's so important to do that. You'll often refer them, if you call my office, we'll refer to them as the cashier's office, the student finance office. This is how to get a hold of them. They can answer questions about your bill, which again, you won't have until you register for courses. And then if you're choosing to live on campus or have to live on campus until those charges are assessed. So they can answer those questions, but that's also in your Banner self-serve account. They can also answer questions about emergency deferment plans, installment agreements. For instance, if you want to pay over 4 equal payments, because we may not be able to provide you enough financial aid to cover 100% of your costs. So your out-of-pocket costs, you'll need to arrange with them how you're going to pay for that. Cardinal One, that is the card where any of your financial aid refunds. So for instance, if you choose to borrow loans over and above what it costs for you to attend here, those loan funds will get refunded to you, and they're going to go on this Cardinal One card. Where are you going to learn about that? In new student orientation. You can also go to our website and look at that as well. Get them pulled up here. Here, you can follow this link, or again, lamar.edu. If you just type in cashiers in that Google search box, they're going to be the first option that comes up. They're going to have payment due dates. That's who determines payment due dates. You can actually see, for instance, over here, where do you pay, how to pay, what happens with you drop or withdraw. And then it links back to my page as well. They haven't updated yet for next year, but they will. And so this is a really important website to be aware of. Go back over here. Special circumstances. We're in a special circumstance right now. This is very, very challenging for families and individuals right now. And one of the things your family may be experiencing is that the income you or your parents were earning before COVID-19 became a reality in the United States is not the same as it is now. So if something like that has occurred and a family member in financial aid, if you or if you are a dependent of your parents have been out of work for at least 3 months, you can petition our office to make changes to your FAFSA to show what the new income would be. You will write our office an email letting us know what those circumstances are. For instance, if your parent was laid off, so you would need to indicate which parent was laid off, what date they were laid off, and then we're going to ask your parents to provide documentation supporting that. So for instance, their layoff notice, the information from Texas Workforce Commission, we're going to collect all that, and we're going to go into your FAFSA, and the Department of Ed is going to let us make changes to the income information. And then they're going to calculate your EFC again, and they're going to come back and tell us, are you eligible for more need-based grants now? So there is options for that, as we realize that not everybody has gone back to work, and things are still ongoing with our circumstances related to COVID. So again, it must be at least 3 months of unemployment before you can request this. So you may not request it now, but if halfway through the semester, you can request it at that time, and we will evaluate it at that time. Now I want to go back. And we're going to look at an example award letter. So here is my financial aid award letter, and this is exactly what your letter will look like. I actually just took one that we created for a student and altered it for me. I want to bring your attention to the biggest, your annual cost of attendance. No, you are not going to get a bill for $25,158 from Lamar University, okay? What you're going to get is you're going to get a bill in the fall, which is for the first half of your year, and you're going to get a bill in the spring. If you are a commuter student, so if you choose not to live on campus, the only items that will show up on your bill are going to be the tuition and fees that you see listed here. And that's it. And that's an estimate, but that's pretty darn close to what it's actually going to be. You're going to split that number in half, and because that's how we bill here. We bill once in the fall and once in the spring. The numbers you see here are for both fall and spring combined. So that tuition and fees, that's the number it will cost you to attend full-time if you choose not to live on campus for the fall and spring. Okay, that's really important to remember because, again, you don't have a bill yet. Your bill's not going to come until after you register for classes. But you need to make a decision about your financial aid now. Okay. You also want to budget about $1,200 for books and supplies. Again, these are not things we charge you. My partners in the cashier's office charge you. What I'm giving you here is a budget so that you can determine, do you have enough financial aid to attend Lamar? Do you need to take out loans? Do you need to sign up for a payment plan? Okay, this is how you develop your plan to pay. And I do want to stress, our role here is to offer you the financial aid, explain what it is, how to keep your financial aid eligibility. Your personal responsibility is to come up with your plan to pay and make sure you've done everything in a timely manner. Now, if you choose to live on campus or have to live on campus, then you can estimate your room and board fees. And so you would add the $10,462 plus the $8,600 and then divide that in two. That would be half your bill in the fall, and the other half would be in the spring. And that's what you would need to attend Lamar full-time for the fall and spring. Summer is separate. As I mentioned earlier, right now I'm processing summer financial aid for my students. You'll be notified in campus announcements and via email when summer financial aid is available for you guys, okay? Personal expenses, transportation, loan fees, only if you take out loans, books and supplies, those are all just estimates that we provide to you so that you understand the true cost of attending college, particularly if you are a student who has chosen to go away to college, which means you're going to live on campus with us. You do need to account for your personal expenses because you are going to need everything from a cell phone bill to shampoo and conditioner to those times that you are just sick and tired of eating in the dining hall. Or if you see Chick-fil-A again, I went to both my grad and undergrad had Chick-fil-A on campus, and it's great until it's not. So when you're sick and tired of eating at Chick-fil-A, you just want to go into town and have a sit-down meal somewhere else. Those are all costs that you have to make sure that you budgeted for. So that's what those dollar amounts. But again, they will not show up on your bill. This is not your bill. So your expected family contribution says right there, that's the information I pulled from your FAFSA. Your EFC is what determines what types of grants I can give you. Okay. And then your total financial need tells me, again, these numbers are more for me than you, but you do need to be aware of what they mean. Tells me, what is your total financial aid? What is the most need-based financial aid I can give you? And in this case, that's $20,469. If you take this total cost of attendance and you subtract your estimated family contribution, you'll get your total financial need. And that is the number that we're going to try and meet. I can tell you, Lamar University is not a school that meets 100% of demonstrated need. There are schools out there that do that, but we are not one of them. We will try and meet as much as we can. For our high academically achieving and our high need students, it's very likely you'll get enough need-based aid, so that generally means grant money, funds you don't have to repay to cover tuition and fees. So we move down here to your offered aid. You were given $5,000 in a Texas grant. So grant money is money you do not have to repay. It is based on need. You were given $1,212 in the Pell Grant. So right there, if you add those two numbers up, you've got $6212. Okay. So let's go back up here to our tuition and fees. Our estimated tuition and fees for the year are $10,462. So you can see there's a gap there. To help fill that gap, you can either sign up for a payment plan, pay out of pocket, or that's when you're offered student loans, which we automatically offer to you. You're not obligated to take them. But one of the things they can do is help give you that choice-filled life if you decide to use them. You can use them to fill the gap that we're not able to fill with need-based aid. So then if you decide to take out your subsidized loan, and your subsidized loan is the loan that does not accrue interest while you're in school. So it doesn't cost you anything to borrow that loan. And you don't have to make any payments on that loan until 6 months after you graduate. The same with your unsubsidized loan, except the unsubsidized loan does accrue interest while you're in school, but you do not need to make payments on that either. If you want to learn more about those, studentaid.gov. It is a great website. It's got loan calculators so that you can see, okay, when you graduate and you pass your exit and you become a teacher here in Beaumont, how much is your loan payment going to be if you decide to borrow because you want to live on campus, or you didn't get need-based aid, you were only offered loans. There's great resources, studentaid.gov, and it goes into all the details about subsidized and unsubsidized loan forgiveness options, all those things. So you can see here, if you were to decide to take everything here, your total aid for the year would be $11,712. If we go back up to our tuition and fees, we now know we have enough to cover our tuition and fees and to purchase books and supplies for both semesters. If you choose to live on campus, that's where you would need to look into doing payment plans for your housing cost, or doing parent loans. The Department of Ed does offer parent loans. You can apply for those on our websites, or what we call alternative loans, which are private loans. I also have some information about those on my website. So I know it's a lot of information. Try to make it as clear as possible, but I really encourage you again to read your letter, do some addition, do some math. On the back, I've tried to explain everything that I think you're going to need to see in your letter. See right here, I talk about cost of attendance, direct cost, indirect cost. So I encourage you to use the back kind of as your guide to the front. So you can reference it and do that. And then once you've done all that and you've looked on studentloans.gov, if you have questions for us, you guys know how to reach out to us. I'm going to stop right now. And are there any questions? Do we have any questions? Anything of that nature?
How long do you have to accept your grants and loans after you received your award offer?
You want to have everything, your grants, we automatically accept those for you. So the only thing you need to take action on is loans, if you were offered loans, or federal work study, if you were offered federal work study. In those, you want to have those accepted no later than 2 weeks before classes start. So I would say no later than August 1st. I won't actually cancel your award until usually about halfway through the fall semester. So even after you get to campus, if you decide you can pay out of pocket and then you decide, you know what, I do want to use that loan, you can do that. You just need to reach out to us, okay? Your grants, though, at one point, well, if you don't attend, your grants will go away. Like for instance, if I offer you the money in the fall, but you don't attend in the fall, I will retract those grant funds, and so you may not be eligible for them in the spring.
Okay. And we also had another one. How do I make corrections to my FAFSA?
You go back to studentaid.gov and you will log into your FAFSA, use your FSA ID. If your FAFSA has already been processed, so if it's been more than 3 business days since you completed your FAFSA, there's actually a little link that says submit corrections. So you just log in and you just actually go through all the answers. It'll show you every single thing again. If it's correct, just bypass it until you get to the section where you want to make corrections. Once you've done that, you'll need to sign it again, parent as well, and then resubmit it. And then it'll come to us in about 3 business days, and then it goes back into processing.
And are payment plans available on the financial aid website?
No. Remember, if you weren't here earlier, payment plans are with the cashier's office. And you'll see this anywhere at any business, even not in higher education. If you work, across the street with all the industry here in town. For checks and balances, the same people that award money or pay money to a student are not the same people who accept payments from students. All institutions are set up that way. So you'll go to my cashier's office, the cashier's office website, again, lamar.edu, just type in cashier's office. They pop up, and you can do all that online through your banner self-serve. It's just not actually through the financial aid tab.
And I think that was our last question. So did you want to add anything on?
There's always so much, right? There's so much in financial aid, and I get that. I think the biggest is I've put a lot on our financial aid website. We put as much as we can out there. So I encourage you to get out there and dig around. If you can't, reach out to us. Always email me with your student ID number. If you send me an email without your student ID number, I'm just going to respond back and say, I can't help you without a student ID number. And that's to protect your safety. But also, I don't want to give you wrong information, because sometimes what you think you're asking and what I think you're asking don't sound the same. And if I'm not looking at your award, I may give you wrong information, and you may make a decision based on my wrong information. And so I really don't want that to happen. And that can absolutely happen if we don't have that student ID number. So please always send in your student ID number. And then again, I just want to ask you to be patient with us right now. We do hope to see you in the fall. We don't get to see our students very often once you guys get up and running, which is good. You should basically not want to hear from my office. It should be smooth sailing. But if you do, come in and talk to us, especially if you think you have an exceptional circumstance. We do love students, and we love to see you guys, and we don't get to interact with y'all as much as we'd like to.
All right, thank you so much for
Sure.
sharing this information with us today. Like she said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can contact me, you can contact her, or you can email admissions@lamar.edu, or go onto our website and go through CHIRP. If you go to our financial aid page, CHIRP is there. So if you go to the financial aid page and ask a question through CHIRP, it'll notify everybody over in financial aid, so they can get that answered for you. So yeah, all our information can be found online, and I hope everybody has a great day.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye.